Alright, welcome back to daily number 680. Where we're learning to be a better gamer. I'm going to scratch a little bit and do this. Because my mustache area is sweating. That's right, I do have that problem. In part 1, we talked about the standard look of Terran vs. Protoss, lots of muscles and flexing and getting big on the infantry, big on Vikings up in the air, big on upgrades for stronger buffer infantry, ghost EMP things, and the poor medivac is just there as a support unit. Here we're seeing that it is central to Dream's gameplay. We also talked about how in the opening, Dream worked his way towards this setup. Some of the benefits defensively of getting up such a fast factory with these mine drops, dealing with oracles, and even starting that tank just in case there's a blink aggression play. And now we're seeing some real rockin' action happening from these medivacs. Let's continue to watch how Dream is going to exploit just the shape of this map and these medivacs for maximum kick-assedness. Again, it's very rare to see so much scanning when a player is so late on his command center. Generally, these command centers are going down as early as something like 8:30, and almost certainly down by 10:30. Almost never do we see a third command center this late, unless something horrible happened. Nothing horrible's happened. Dream only just now is starting to back off on the medevac production when he has a whopping 9. And I'm thrilled at the chance to have used whopping. Oh, but let's talk about another very important thing going on in the base. First most important thing, this command center. Wow, that's late. We already spent some time talking about these other barracks popping down early. But noticeably, second engineering bay and the armory, very late. Insanely late by usual TvP standards. But I need to back up because there's action going down in the main. We got the chance to see some of those tactics. We wanted to go back and look at the main base. Dream is doing a good job making sure that Stork has no vision. The number of observers that have been killed this game is insane. We have one observer here. Stork's not actually in horrific shape if you just look at things like his probe count. He has 8 gateways. He has most of his tech and his upgrades. He only has +1 armor because Dream was really good about killing that off. But as we come back to the Dream cam, we just see big ol' medevac drops sweeping in on 2 sides. Very rare to be able to get to do this. It was set up by getting such an insane medevac count early, can easily pull back and get at least a non-zero amount of damage. Oh no, another attempted drop by Stork. Remember these rally points? How they always seem to be in the main? Hell yeah. And I think that these mines are just a really cute example of the swanky thinking from Dream. But just continue dropping to be annoying, continue dropping to be annoying. This is the sort of annoyingness that people theorized about when they saw the Ignite Afterburners. What's it called now? Yeah, Ignite Afterburners. Just getting a lot of value from these edges. And actually the unit loss tab is a perfect example of what these drops are doing to Stork. Goodness, is it okay to be so late on your command center? Well, yeah, if you can get value like that, then go for it. This isn't just, oh, he killed the Nexus, and he's gotten lucky as a result of that, and Stork is going to lose because he is not collecting as much. Dream is actively killing off way the hell more than his opponent. So these 3 medevacs have been doing their thing, and what do you know? More troops coming down, always accompanied by medevacs. Drapu, drapu, drapu. No problem. Always being sure to have that Ignite Afterburners available for a retreat. Now we see this same spot, this same undervalued spot, the position that is farthest away from any command center or from any nexus, being used as a place to just be annoying at. Look at this, just ripping his opponent to shreds. There's feedbacks going down, but that's okay, because, again, 11 medevacs. Holy what the hell. More dropping just happening every which way. Now, you would think that now that this expansion is up, with cannons, Now that there's been, it seems like enough defense going down that Dream might consider relenting, but hell no. Here's the upgrades coming up so late. Dude, 16 minutes start on those is so late. The third command center hasn't even landed. What? And this is what I would call the fun part. Stork is already in a bad place, and this is where, if you're trying this strategy out, you just get to have a lot of fun. Very rarely can you get 8 medivacs worth of units all sprinting into the main base at once. And just as critical as that drop in the main is, just little pokes like this at the front become huge. Stork is being super active with drop aggression back here. But remember those rally points being so far back in the main base? Hell yeah. Oops. Yeah. And when the going gets tough, the tough get going. Dream waited as long as possible to retreat because he's applying pressure at this front. A little bit poorly, mind you. He's going to probably lose that medevac. And no, this is Dream. Dream has 13 medevacs right now. Hell yeah. Everything rallied in. Doop-a-doop-a-doo. We just see the sort of continued awesomeness. So everything heals up in seconds. This is where we see the drop aggression kind of halt as this expansion gets defended. But not even fully. Drop aggression on the backside. And almost always, I don't like a Ghost Academy on just 5 barracks. But the fact is, Dream has built up such a huge bioforce with the medevacs, I think that it's more than okay. I'd even go so far as to call it very good. Now, with this many medevacs, Dream has the option of planting his entire army in the main base. So he's just going to push the front and do as best control as he really feels like doing. He's eating storms and actually getting repelled, but only kind of temporarily. He's doing another drop, by the way. In the Units Lost tab, it looks horrible for the Protoss. There's a number of ways in which you can eat storms. One is to get the upgrades, the other is to have a lot of medevacs. Or alternatively, you can just get the ghosts up, but I like showing just the brunt amount of medevacs. Let's see. I'm going to rearrange this. I'm going to scroll down to... Oh, look, it says Strock. How wonderful. Great. What I want to do now is I want to look at a variant. How would Dream do a slightly different opener that feeds into the same logic of aggressive drops? Well, what do you know? I have another game here. This game just looks nuts. Just looks frickin' crazy. Compared to the last one. I mean, I should say, in terms of openings, this game looks crazy. Dream looks like he's being an insane person. This looks like it would be a horrible example of someone preparing for a drop-heavy play. But it is. Here it is. Barracks coming down, gas coming up. As you can tell, this is a proxy Reaper play. So even though we saw a build order and an entire structure to gameplay in the last time, here we're going to see it more as a concept. What do you know? It's a Reaper. And what comes after Reaper? Well, if you said Command Center, then you're a smart puppy. Dream is just being so cutesy right now. He's so desperado to get this up that he loses his SCV. He's microing as best he can. He's going to get 1. He gets 2. And he almost loses his Reaper to probes, but this is Dream. How swank. I would say it's very easy to think, I need this barracks because I'm a pro gamer and I'm attacking him. This barracks must happen if you're doing this. One of the easiest losses you will ever feel as a pro or as a Terran player is when you do this proxy Reaper and you think, got him, and you lift off and fly home and you're like, oh, look at all this great money I have. I'm gonna get an expansion, some more bear. Oh, I'm dead. Ugh. So that sucks. We see Dream continuing to be smart, spreading the Reapers apart so that he can maximize the amount of damage inflicted. Actually, let me rephrase that. He is not maximizing the amount of damage inflicted. He's increasing the percentage of times that he can deal damage. If he puts the two Reapers together, that's where he's going to have maximum damage, picking probes off as quickly as possible. But if he spreads them out, probably isn't going to do huge damage, but he's almost always going to kill off one probe. So here's where I'm going to reject the idea of build orders. Oh no, does Dream get himself up 3, 4, 5 Reapers? I don't know what the best play is. I don't know. To hell with any of that. Dream is doing some of the same tenets as before, getting a reactor barracks, getting more barracks back home. This is a second one. This third one is floating in. In the meantime, we're seeing Dream be a really annoying person. He's overall killed off total of, I think it's 8 probes? Maybe I was looking at a later part in the game. Did he kill off the 7th one? No, he lost. He loses all 3. Okay. So, Dream flubs. I didn't realize he lost all 3 at once. I know that they went away. I just, for some reason, remember one of them staying alive longer. So this is fantastic. This is really good news. Because again, this is a game that seems like it would be a bad representative example of how to do this drop-heavy play. But it isn't. First and foremost, getting an upgrade. Nice. Getting himself concussive shell. Nicer. One thing that our good buddy Dream is very pleased to know is that this Nexus was delayed quite a bit. Enemy made 2 Stalkers and both Geisers, and Dream was able to keep track of how many workers were there. All good signs that he's hurting them.
Upgrade.
Alright, nice. Dream's moving on out. Moving on out. Getting additional refineries. Generally getting a very quick 3rd refinery here, and then halting is pretty typical in terms of that gas buildup. You see Dream, he's going to be getting himself a little reactor here in a moment. There's the relatively quick 3rd refinery. So why would it perhaps be bad to start doing this mass medivac strategy? Let's ask ourselves, why would it be bad to start massing them up? And the answer is that our opponent might be way far down the line in his tech. He might already have 2 to 3 Colossus. He might already have Storm and cannons and plenty of warp gates to boot. If he already has all that stuff, and then we begin dropping, it's going to be very weak. If we can get in early enough and deal damage before he gets those key defensive pieces in place, then we're going to do damage. So here, if we look at the timer, we might say, oh goodness, these are very late medivacs. These medivacs are going to be getting started much later than I want. Boo, frickety, hoopity doo. But actually, this is a pretty on-time starport, to be frank. This is pretty reasonable. And you know what else? My Protoss opponent is way behind on his tech. You know what really kills drops? Key buildings. Gateways, being able to warp in and defend. Robos and robo-bays, being able to get those Colossus.
Add-on.
Templar archives. For Storm. Twilight Council for charge. It's just a lot of buildings, and he's going to be way behind on buildings. Speaking of being way behind, Dream could have already had those 2 medivacs out. But great. It's okay that it's a little bit behind. We're going to see him go drop crazy. Weird to see this 4th refinery value so highly, but Dream's going to get that. Ordinarily, we'd see players begin halting medevac production real soon now to make sure that they can have plenty of room to get up additional command centers, barracks, just things. Factory floats cross map. Dream is amazing at using that as a tool. See the medevacs happily just darting their way up to the front lines. 2 more barracks being constructed. Where are they? Why is it not centering properly? Here's the 2 barracks that Dream's building. Notice that when I click here, it teleports me to a random location on the map and selects a pair of SCVs. I have no idea why that's the case. I really don't know why it's doing that. Anyways, look at this. 2 barracks coming down, and ordinarily you'd say, goodness, you gotta halt that medevac production. Does Dream halt it? Hell no, there they come. Yeah! So if we take a look at the everyone cam, we see the usual defense. Why are there so many stalkers? Well, if we look at the units lost tab, there's 7 units that have been lost for Stork. 6 of those have been probes. These are the stalkers that were built at the beginning of the game to deal with the Reapers. These are sentries built early on to deal with this seeming inevitable push, and look how much energy they have. We even see, oh, Templar Archives coming up. Charge en route. Ooh, we're going up to 5 barracks. We have ground armor. Nifty, thrifty, United States. Now, the whole reason that Protosses are generally able to hold off these kinds of things at the start of the game is because they have some of that infrastructure in place. Dream is being very wise about how he places this stuff. Now watch this battle that happens at the high ground. Dream does not yet have combat shield. And we spoke about the spaces between bases is super critical. Just by being on top of this ramp, Stork is in a bad spot. Because Stork's units are at the bottom, and there's vulnerable stuff at the top. How on earth does Stork get a good angle? And let's pretend for a moment that Stork had his units all the way up here. Well, no problem. Dream just takes these units and sends them down there. Dream is going to go on whatever side of the ramp Stork is not on. Lovely. Absolutely lovely play. He just is going to target fire anything of value. Doesn't matter what at this point. We see Stork doing the warp in. Instantly picks off the mothership core. Why? Because the mothership core is what's going to have all the photon overcharges. Just sitting there. Doing a little hitting at the front, a little hitting at the back. Oh, thank goodness those medivacs are continuing to be produced. Now once again, Stork is trying to do this aggressive warp prisming. But wouldn't you know it, every single barracks is rallied inward. So in game 1 we saw a build order that led into this medivac stuff. In a very sort of simple, straightforward, I'm getting my stuff quickly kind of way. Here, Dream bashed his opponent down quickly, early, and is now just exploiting the power of this spaces in between.
Upgrade complete.
To just deal so much damage. We have a Marine just patrolling for proxy pylons. Barracks took a little bit of time to get these add-ons, but geez, holy double butts, it's a command centaur. Oh my god. It's part building, part horse, it's a command centaur. After 680 episodes, this is what I bring to the table. Oh my god.
Add-on complete.
I'm sure if you were on Reddit, you saw this thought the other day. Centaurs have 2 rib cages. Yeah, it blew my mind too. So Stork is stuck between a rock and a gun. Why are there so many stalkers here when there's clearly not Blink? Well, because Stork's gotta feel like maybe he can kill the medivacs. But stalkers are horrific against every gateway unit except a Reaper. Horrific. Only in very specific circumstances, at very specific angles, are they okay. So if, for instance, let us pretend that these 8 stalkers are in the main. We have so many medivacs, we have 7, that we can literally go drop directly on these stalkers. We can brute force the stalkers, and even though we might lose a medivac full of dudes, we're going to have fewer units versus units that are frickin' awful against Marines and Marauders. And Dream's gonna kite, 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 do 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 do, kite, 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 do 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 do. Kite, 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 kite. Kite, kite, kite. Land. Be a man. And land. Often, Dream won't win the game with this push, but he certainly dealt the damage and got up an additional base. He's getting himself some ups. And you gotta give him some props. More mines coming out, so fine. All mine, all the time. Actually, I think this is a good spot to end part number 2. Part number 3, we're going to see a loss style of Dream. And I think we're going to have some extra time, so I might just try to wing it and grab one of his games that I didn't see. Dream managed to get to the round of 3 in the wildcard match, where it was him and 2 other players playing in a 3-person round robin. So normally it's that whoever goes 2-0 in that round robin advances, and the other 2 drop out. And if it's a 3-way tie, 1-1, 1-1, 1-1, they just play again. And then they played 7 times in a row. It was amazing. Oh, it may have been 6. But they played some obscene number of tiebreakers in a row. They went 1-1-1, 6 or 7 times. It was dope. Actually, let me see if I can count them. Let me count the ways. Let me not lie to you. Oh God, what if I lied to you? That would be so tragic. Okay, let's see here. They played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Crud butts. Crud crap butt bats. Fudge latch. Thrudge snatch. When we return, we're going to go ahead and look at a loss game, and then we're going to look at one of the games between Dream and Paralyze, the player who would eventually advance from that tiebreaker.